In our family, if there are twins, one of them must be a lucky charm. When I was 3, my little sister pointed at a set of lottery numbers. Mom, Dad, buy these, buy these. They went ahead and bought them, not really believing, but they actually won $1 million prize. Since then, my sister's been the apple of their eye. Me. I became the odd one out in the family. When I was 7, my sister said she didn't like me, and just like that, our parents kicked me out. I almost starved. At 18, my sister's luck ran dry, and our family was on the brink of bankruptcy. But my luck turned around, and I was suddenly golden. Then my parents came knocking saying, "Sweetheart, we're here to take you home." I just smiled. "Who's your sweetheart? Don't act like we're family." "Lucy, Candy, help Mom pick which lottery number to play." This overly made-up woman pointed at the paper covered in lottery numbers, glancing at the 2 little girls in front of her. The woman wore a fashionable wavy perm, a low-cut top, and a short leather skirt that barely reached her knees, a look that screamed cheap. The thick makeup smell was enough to make one of the little girls wrinkle her nose and back away. I took in the room. It was this tiny 10-square-meter place, walls and floors murky and dull. Only 2 metal beds against the walls, and a little table in between counted as furniture. The room smelled of mold, mixing with the woman's overpowering perfume, making me sick. Sitting at the table now, the woman's eyes danced frantically between greed and urgency as she looked at the children. One looked puzzled and innocent, the other held her nose, clearly hating Mom's makeup. The woman, losing patience without any response from her daughters, slammed the paper on the table, cursing angrily, "You're both useless. What's the point of having you both?" The old wooden table creaked under her slaps, sounding like it might fall apart any moment. Yet the kids just stared blankly. One stood frozen, the other shrunk into a corner. Angrier now, the woman stepped forward and pulled on the hair of the dazed one, slapping her hard twice, making her cry. That kid was me. I held my burning cheeks, confused why Mom suddenly flipped out. I was 3, old enough to remember things. I had a twin sister named Candy, and I was called Lucy. I remember Dad always talking about how great twins were, especially twin daughters. He would say we were a blessing from above. I thought Dad loved us, but he was rarely home, always out saying he was trying his luck. Mom, on the other hand, always had this paper filled with numbers. "Lucy, Candy, my little lucky charms. Help Mom find the winning ticket." I didn't understand what a lottery was, or what it meant to be a lucky charm. All I knew was that every day, we stared at numbers that looked like tadpoles. Candy and I, even at 3, weren't much talkers. We couldn't make sense of those numbers. "They're 3 and can't talk." "Leo, was that family legend just a lie?" Macy snapped, glaring at Dad reading the paper. Putting down the newspaper, Leo hugged her. "Relax, honey, it's true. Look at my cousin's kid. They're living the dream." Once a prominent family, the Ho family was rich beyond measure. Blessed with a legend, every decade, twin sisters would be born, one destined to be a lucky charm, the other ordinary. Over time, wars and turmoil shattered fortunes, but the luck never changed. Though our family line hadn't seen a lucky charm in a while until Mom had me and Candy, we were the next generation's twin sisters. Overjoyed, our parents were sure we were the family's lucky charm this generation. Orphaned early, Dad's relatives barely fed him to survive. Wandering from one odd job to another, Dad met orphan Mom, both just scraping by. Once they had us, they abandoned work, dreaming of striking it rich by our supposed luck. Chasing lotteries, hoping to hit it big, made our already poor home even more barren. "You too, figure out the winning ticket today, or you don't eat," Dad barked, calming Mom and turning back to us. Flinching still from my sore cheek, I followed his orders, staring at the lottery tickets. A strange sensation bubbled inside, feeling like something was about to rush out. Before I could respond, my sister suddenly pointed to a lottery ticket. "Mom, Dad, buy this one. You greedy brat. Did I say you could eat that? The chicken's for your sister, how dare you?" At dinner, Mom shouted the moment I tried to take a piece of chicken. "Man, you're really pushing it. No more eating for you. Get out and stand outside the house to reflect." "But Mom, it's raining outside." I looked at her, all scared, hoping she wouldn't kick me out on such a rainy night. You'll get sick. But Mom was still glaring at me, her voice leaving no room for argument. Boo-hoo, Mom, it's cold and dark outside. I'm really scared. I promise I won't eat the chicken again. It was getting dark, and with the rain and the night settling in, I was terrified as a 5-year-old. Lucy, you really don't know your place, huh? You dare disobey me? Mom seemed super angry, slamming the table hard. The dining table, made of gold and white jade, glimmered, no longer the old wooden table that might fall apart with a single hit. Mom got up and quickly came over to me, giving me a hard slap that turned my face aside. Then she pulled me off the chair, dragging me across the floor like trash, and then tossed me out the door. I slowly got up from the ground, staring at the ominous dark night, too scared to take a single step further. I had to huddle under the eaves, trying to stay out of the rain as much as possible. 2 years ago, the lottery numbers that my sister pointed at were bought by my parents in disbelief. Turned out they won the jackpot, a whole $3 million, which was both expected and unexpected. On the day they found out they won, Dad fainted right at the lottery shop. Mom could barely walk or talk, she was so shocked. By the time they calmed down, it was time to cash in the ticket. When the $1 million prize, minus tax, hit their account, they excitedly picked up my sister. Turns out Candy is our little lucky star, huh? Dad was holding her high up, while I watched enviously. Just like our positions after that. One of us up in the clouds, the other down like dust. As twin girls, which one of us is the lucky charm could only be told when luck kicked in. Before this, not knowing who was the real lucky one, they treated us almost equally. But after winning, they became convinced my sister was the lucky one, and started spoiling her unconditionally. They moved out of the shabby house, and bought a place in a mid-range neighborhood with half of the prize. The other half was invested in business and stocks by Dad. Every decision had to be consulted with my sister. Her luck was just phenomenal. Every investment paid off, and stocks soared. In just 2 years, our family had become wealthy, sitting on a fortune of millions. They moved again from the mid-range area to a luxury mansion in the rich part of town. As my sister's lucky predictions got more accurate, her position became rock solid, and my parents only had eyes for her. Me. I was just the useless one in the family, a nobody even the maid could push around. Who's this useless brat standing in the way? I don't know how long it was when I heard a car engine approaching. Dad hurried out of the luxury car with excitement. He was about to head in, but saw me blocking his way. Did your mom punish you again? All you do is make adults mad. Why can't you be more like your sister? You're the same age as your sis. Yet she has been making money for the family since she was 3. You're just a money-wasting brat. He kept poking my forehead, scolding me. I silently listened as he berated me. I've heard those words countless times over the past 2 years. Little me felt nothing but fear and confusion inside. If you're not Candy and you can't make money for the family, are you just useless? Now get inside. You standing here makes us look bad. I slowly followed him inside, trying to make myself as invisible as possible. Inside, in the living room, Linda and Candy had already finished dinner. Linda was holding Candy while watching her favorite cartoons. Candy, my little lucky star, come here and let Daddy hold you. Upon seeing Candy, my dad's irritation vanished entirely as he showered her with kisses. Candy giggled, saying his beard was prickly. Oh, my lucky star. Daddy just can't love you enough. What's got you in such a good mood today? Linda noticed Dad's unusually good spirits, wondering what good news he had. Why wouldn't I be happy? Thanks to our precious Candy, I finally landed that project in the district. Hearing this, Linda's eyes lit up, and she jumped from the couch. Really? Oh honey, it is a great opportunity. This project could really take our family to the next level. Our city is a historic town with a strong tourism industry. Recently, the government funded a renovation of the old town, with several projects set to start. Dad isn't the sharpest tool, without much of a strategic eye, but even he couldn't ignore the potential this project held. With Candy's reassurance on the project, Dad wholeheartedly believed in her good luck. Upon inspecting it, the project indeed had promising potential, and he jumped right in. Candy was nestled between Dad and Linda, being affectionately doted on. And when she saw me, she pretended to care. Oh, why is my sister just standing there? And she's a bit wet too. Hearing her words finally reminded them I was standing there, ignored. Seeing my dumbfounded expression had Linda's simmering anger flaring up again. Hey, you brat! Get back to your room. You're soaking wet. Don't get my carpet dirty. Linda shooed me back to my room. Well, it was more like the dark attic on the top floor. Not even as good as the room the maid stayed in. Candy, seeing how annoyed Dad and Linda were with me, had that twinkle in her eye. Mom, can Sis come with me in the car to kindergarten today? Both Candy and I went to a kindergarten far from home, about an hour's walk away. Normally, Candy got a ride with the driver, while I had to walk back and forth by myself. Today, Candy nagged Linda to let me ride with her. I arched an eyebrow, doubting Candy's sudden kindness. Sure enough, as soon as I got in the car, Candy let out a scream. Who told you to sit? You're coming to serve me, not to sit down. If you misbehave, I'll tell Dad and Linda, and they'll punish you. Remembering the harsh punishment from Dad and Linda made me shrink back, so I knelt down beside Candy's seat. Whenever I clashed with Candy, it would always end with me getting punished. The favored one is always fearless, and kids are good at picking up on things. Candy realized I wasn't important in the family and started bullying me. To avoid beatings, I had no choice but to put up with her demands. Fighting back was pointless and just made things worse for me. What took an hour to walk was only a 30-minute drive. I slowly followed Candy into kindergarten. A pretty little girl, Candy's classmate, walked up to us. Candy, why are you coming with your sister? I thought you hated her? The classmate glanced at me and linked arms with Candy, chatting about me as they walked. What's it like having a sister? Do you have to share everything? I know, with Candy's family so rich, she'll have to split everything with her sister. A boy laughed, gloating. That's not true. She's just a maid in their house. Candy felt everyone was as annoying as her sister, even though it wasn't as they said. Dad and Linda's love, the wealth, everyday things, she didn't have to share with me. Candy simply hated me. Just thinking about my existence made her furious. I could tell Candy's malice was growing. Her bullying was getting worse. She'd push me off the stairs, laugh when I got hurt, instigate Dad and Linda to punish me more, and watch with a smirk. Living there was getting harder and more suffocating by the day. Things changed when we turned 7, starting elementary school. One day, Candy was caught bullying me at school. The teacher was furious and scolded Candy in the office. You, as a younger sister, should be kind, not bullying your own family or classmates. It's wrong. Candy, not convinced, only became more upset with me. Sister, it's always about her. Even though Dad and Linda don't care about me, as long as I'm around, she's stuck being my sister. Candy hated me more, didn't want to see me. At home, Dad asked Candy about an investment. Dad, I'm sorry, but my good luck hasn't been working. What? Why? What have you done? Dad was anxious at her words. Nothing but. Candy glanced at Dad, then at me. It's her. She ruins my mood, makes my luck go away. I hate her. I don't want to see her. Candy cried, and Dad and Linda felt pity for her. No need for more talk. It's clear who gets kicked out, me. Especially if I affect Candy's so-called luck. Outside, the fierce wind blew and snow fell heavily. Everything was covered in white, so desolate. It matched my solitary figure trudging through the snow, feeling all the more sorrowful. Kicked out by Dad and Linda. In this freezing season, as the new year nears when families reunite, I was homeless. When I opened my eyes again, I was in a quaint room. It felt serene, the sandalwood incense soothing. Ba, little one, you're awake. An elderly monk entered, warm and kind. Seeing my confusion, he explained. This is a monastery outside the city. I'm Carrie, the head here. On my travels, I found you passed out in the snow and brought you back. I looked up, timidly thanking him. But I've been thrown out. I have no money to pay you. I lowered my head, feeling small and lost. He seemed kind, but young as I was, I wondered how I could repay him. Ha ha ha, what a sweet child. The old monk chuckled warmly. Don't worry about money. Finding you is a fate of its own. I had nowhere else to go, so I ended up staying at Huiyin Temple. Carrie is a really good person, and the monks there were kind to me. But most of the time, I was quiet and didn't talk much, nor was I very lively. I was just 7 and couldn't understand why having a koi fish fate was so crucial to my father and Linda. I couldn't figure out why they treated me the way they did, or why they kicked me out of the house. Master, am I really useless? I asked Master Carey, throwing out the most perplexing question that stirred in my mind. Clutching the Buddhist beads in his hand, Master Carey looked up gently and said, Buddha says that one's current life is a result of past actions, and future outcomes depend on what one does now. Silly kid, I know you're confused, but the answer is one you need to find by yourself to truly understand. Would you like to follow me and learn? I thought for a moment, and then looked at him with determination. Master, I am willing. He smiled and stroked his beard. Then I will give you the Dharma name Lily. May you cast away the past and be reborn anew. Lily. I whispered my new name twice in my heart, and seeing his kind smile, I felt fuller than ever before. I knew I would find the answer. Time flows like water, and 10 years passed in a blink. During those 10 years our family, guided by my sister, thrived and amassed immense wealth. Meanwhile, I followed Master and gradually came to terms with the past, releasing my attachment and inner turmoil. One day in the temple's grand hall, a modestly dressed middle-aged man was kneeling in front of the Buddha statue, hands clasped, praying intently. I put down the calligraphy brush and walked over to him. Here is the scripture I copied for you for blessings, I said. The man opened his eyes, took the scripture, and gave me a strained smile. Thank you, young monk, he said. We chatted briefly before I watched him leave. The man Tom was unlucky. He and his wife had built a company from the ground up. The business flourished, but at its peak, his wife mysteriously vanished. Distraught, Tom searched everywhere but couldn't find her, even neglecting his business. With her disappearance, Tom missed a major project bid. His company plummeted and his family shattered. During this destructive period, Tom turned to Buddhism and became a regular visitor to our temple. Lily. Master. I heard his voice and saw him watching me. I moved closer and affectionately greeted him, and he patted my head. Lily, you're 17 now, and finals are over. Do you have any plans? Over the years, Master cared for me, filling the gap of family love I lacked. He didn't constrain me to live in the temple, but allowed me to follow the secular world, taking his surname Zhou, attending school, and preparing for college. Just a month ago, I received my acceptance letter from my dream university. Master, can I stay here during the break to keep you company? I asked. Master, now aged, deserved my time. I wanted to be there for him, as much as possible. You're a filial child, he said. Then you can receive guests and assist with prayers, or copying scriptures for blessings. I hesitated. Is that all, Master? I think I can do more. His soft, familiar smile didn't falter as he patted my head. There's a karmic reason for everything, my child. What you're doing is enough. I looked at him, suddenly understanding. Master had long seen through my fate. Yes, I was the true lucky star of the Lucy family. All the signs had been there. As a child, the lottery numbers that changed our family's fate aligned with an odd sensation I already knew to trust. That business project at age 5, I sensed it would elevate us. Every prediction my sister made I felt too, but somehow, she always voiced them first, and only after she spoke did my premonitions kick in. At first, I felt bitterness and confusion about being cast out, but I began to notice our father's investment decisions mirrored mine exactly. I grew curious about my own predictive abilities. If my sister was the family's lucky charm, why did I hold these powers? Investigating our family's legacy, I learned 2 things. The gift I possessed matched the ancestral koi fish traits. My unique experiences weren't fabricated. This reaffirmed that I was the true heir. The second point was that Lucy's twin daughters were fated. One as the koi, the other ordinary. So why did Candy claim the role meant for me? I couldn't understand. As time flew by, I turned 18, nearing the end of my freshman year. Over the summer, a few classmates and regular temple visitors formed a volunteer team. We went to help with disaster relief in the quake zone. The devastation was immense. This was when I understood just how tiny we are against nature. We helped rescue people, set up tents, distributed supplies, and maintained logistics. Disasters can be merciless, but people can be compassionate. In the disaster zone, I saw people struggling to survive with their last ounce of strength. I also saw soldiers risking their lives under aftershocks to rescue others. In the face of natural calamities, life may be fragile, but it's also remarkably strong and resilient. The grateful looks from rescued people, and the unity everyone showed during the disaster moved me deeply. No way am I the useless person my parents said I was. This rescue mission taught me a lot. When I returned to the temple, tired from my journey, I found some unexpected visitors. Master, your temple is known for being mystical. Please help my daughter. It turned out to be my long-lost parents and sister, pleading loudly in front of my teacher. I was a bit surprised. How did they find this place? I slipped to the side quietly to listen to their conversation with my teacher. Turns out, they didn't know I was here. They came specifically to seek my teacher's advice. They heard our temple was very spiritual, and every devout visitor would have their wishes fulfilled. Master, my daughter was meant to bring us prosperity. Why hasn't it worked lately? After she turned 18, my sister's supposed luck ran dry. Every decision she made went wrong, and our family's investments tanked. Out of desperation, my parents turned to fortune-telling for answers. The teacher looked at my sister, shook his head and said, "The soul from another world, destined for small fortune. Alas, greed and malice ruin it. Peace." My parents stood there, silent and uneasy after hearing that. But I understood. The soul from another world? Is that why my sister knew everything? My sister caught sight of me standing at the temple entrance. "It's you. What are you doing here? Did you steal my luck?" Seeing me, she screamed, accusing me of taking her fortune. My parents saw their daughter's gaze and recognized me right away. I didn't change much since childhood. "You little brat. Why won't you leave us be? And now you've tarnished your sister's destiny." My parents yelled, trying to reach me. Clearly, they shared my sister's belief. All things have their fate. If you can't see it, you'll stay confused. I didn't bother with their nonsense, and politely led them out. My teacher observed, expecting anger from me. I just shook my head and sighed. They don't treasure what they have, blinded by greed and selfishness. I've come to terms with my past. I won't punish myself over clueless parents. My life, bright as the dawn, is in my hands, untouched by any storm. Dad's company is declining rapidly day by day. He managed to build the business on my sister's supposed luck, not on his own skills. Once her luck fizzled, he floundered, lost and desperate. In just months, they lost everything and declared bankruptcy. Their assets were seized, accounts frozen, and they owed a mountain of debt. Friends and family turned their backs. In contrast, I used my good fortune to help those truly in need. Grateful visitors returned to the temple, and I made new friends. My reputation steadily grew. Facing hardship, my parents realized I was the real lucky charm. Dragging my sister, they came to the temple again. In front of me, they kicked and scolded her, just like they used to do to me. "You worthless girl, stealing your sister's fate. I'll beat you to death." They begged me to return, hoping I could save them. "What are you doing? This is a sacred place. You can't act like this." I called for help to stop them from hurting my sister. A true blessing helps everyone, not just selfish desires. If my parents kept abusing her, they'd end up worse. I didn't say that, only looked at them deeply. I firmly refused to go back, and escorted them out of the temple for the second time. "Is this Lily? This is the city's police department. We need you to come by." At the station, a middle-aged man hurried to thank me. I looked closely, it was Tom. "No worries, it was your destiny. Years of effort made your reunion happen. Were it not for your kindness, Master, I wouldn't have made it." He came to thank me because they found Wendy, his wife. This was from when I volunteered after a nearby city quake. The situation was dire, and we filled in wherever needed. I was stationed at a medical tent for injured victims. A woman named Molly caught my eye. She resembled Tom's wife, Wendy. Tom, a regular at Temple, had told me about his missing wife, even showed me her picture. The woman in the photo was vibrant, recognizable despite time's marks. "Wendy." I called out tentatively, but she didn't respond. She seemed confused, struggling to even say her name. The nurses had no detailed info on her, but they looked so much alike. That teardrop mole under the eye was exactly the same as in the photo of Wendy. Thinking about Tom's sad expression, I felt touched. I thought, if we could really find his wife, it would be amazing. I stayed alert. If this woman was genuinely not well mentally, her family would likely not let her wander around. The place where she was rescued was probably near her home, and there might be folks who knew her there. Convinced of my plan, I started asking around about Molly. Turns out persistence pays off. I actually found some info. An elderly lady told me. She was a neighbor of Molly's family. This earthquake didn't harm her family. The lady said Molly came to their village about 13 years ago. She married into a family with the last name Wong. But Molly didn't marry voluntarily. She was trafficked. The village knew about buying brides, but didn't talk about it openly. After Molly got married, she cried and tried to run away daily. Her in-laws tied her up and beat her, driving her to madness. From what the lady said, Molly's in-laws were all gone in the earthquake. Only Molly got rescued. Back in my tent, I compared what she said to the details of Wendy's disappearance. I was almost certain, 90% sure, that Molly was Wendy. Surprisingly, I didn't feel happy that Tom's family might be reunited. I felt a chill. Tom had said his wife disappeared without any notice 13 years ago, while he was bidding on a project that was set to start soon. I can't forget the day my dad won a project bid. I was only 5, left alone in that lonely rainy night. The helplessness and despair still make my spine tingle when I think about it. So that detail about the project stuck with me. Tom's company was doing great back then, financially strong, the most likely to win. During his bid, my dad was stressed because of the competition. Over the years, I've followed news about Candy's family. Picked up some secrets while looking into my own luck. Though my folks flourished thanks to Candy's good fortune, it wasn't just luck they relied on. They were into illegal stuff, suppressing rivals. It's possible that Leo and Macy kidnapped Wendy to distract Tom, so he'd lose the bid. Thinking about this left me feeling complicated. If that's what happened, and if my family hurt Tom, how could I face him? I couldn't sleep, tossing and turning all night. Next morning, I made up my mind. If it's true, I would take whatever blame Tom had for me. The priority was to confirm if Molly was really Wendy. Molly was injured and couldn't be moved. The local area was chaotic due to the earthquake, and the police might not respond promptly to a report. So, when I got back to my city, I reported everything to the local police. Tom and his wife were from my city, and Tom reported Wendy missing right away. The police must have a record. I also told the police about my doubts regarding my parents, asking them to investigate. When I first learned my parents were involved in shady activities, I did everything I could to help the victims. I couldn't take down the deeply buried secrets, so I just gathered as much evidence as possible. After reporting to the authorities, I tried reaching out to Tom about Molly, but he was abroad and out of reach. Half a year later, Tom returned, and Molly was confirmed to be Wendy. It was my parents behind Wendy's kidnapping all those years ago. Tom didn't blame me for my parents' actions. He said, "They are them, you're you. You're a good-hearted young person, not like them." We exchanged smiles in appreciation of his generosity. I gave my statement to the police and handed over the evidence I collected against my parents. As I was slowly walking out of the station, I saw several police cars coming in with sirens blaring. My parents, handcuffed, were escorted inside by the police. Following behind was my sister, running after the police cars, shouting, "Don't take my parents! Don't take them!" Unable to catch up, she collapsed to the ground, crying her heart out. She looked filthy, a far cry from her once well-dressed princess self. I heard she had nowhere to go after our family assets were seized and lived under bridges, fighting over food with the homeless. Watching this scene, I felt nothing. No sadness, no anger. Everyone has their own karma. You face the consequences of the paths you choose. I turned to leave when Candy spotted me. Screaming, she rushed toward me. "Lucy, it's you again. It's always you. I'm the one who's supposed to be here. I'm the main character, the lucky one." Her words were jumbled and crazy. I frowned at the sight. Candy, destiny's in your own hands. A heaven-sent fortune is to be used to help people, not for selfishness or harming others. If you exploit your luck for wrong, it backfires, just like with my parents today. I shook Candy off, and she stumbled to the ground. Ignoring her cries, I walked away in the opposite direction. We were never alike. I have a mission to help others, knowing my responsibility. From now on, I'll do good and worry not about the future. The end.